Okay, so in this video, I want to talk to you about lead generation. And what we're going to start is, well, what is lead generation? So a lead is what we call someone who is a potential prospect client or customer. So someone who's interested in what we have to offer. And the lead generation is the act of generating those leads. So the act of getting some sort of information from these people that allows us to stay in contact with them. And that's when they become a lead. So they become a lead once we have some way of contacting them. So whether it's their phone number or their email. So lead generation is a form of attraction marketing where we attract people who might want to buy what we have to offer to us instead of chasing them down and putting our offer in front of them. So we're basically making them come to us because they're interested in what we have to offer, which is a much nicer way to do business. So it's kind of like how someone who wanted to attract a particular species of butterfly to their garden would plant flowers and trees that they knew that butterfly loved. So we're going to create something to bring our ideal client to us. We're going to create something that we know itches a scratch that our prospects have. So something they would be willing to part with their contact details for. So whether it be their email, their phone number, maybe Facebook Messenger subscription, and then we're going to offer this thing to them. So why do we do this? Well, the average person needs to be exposed to something 5 to 12 times before they commit to it. And that's if they're already interested in that thing. So for you to generate a relationship with somebody and cultivate the know, like, and trust necessary to convert them to a client, it's going to take more than just one exposure. So basically what we're doing is we're going to take a cold prospect who has never met you, who doesn't know anything about you, who may never have heard of your service or may not have even thought of that might be something that they need. And we're going to convert them to somebody who wants what you have and is willing to pay you to get it. So the only way you can predictably do this is to put yourself into a situation where you can email them or message them. Either that or you can retarget them with Facebook with ads, which costs money. So how do we generate leads? Look, first of all, I want to say this is where knowing your avatar is super important. And why we spend time in organic social media before we get to the point where we're creating leads or where we're creating an opt-in, which is what we call the thing that we're going to create that they want. So lead generation, opt-in, these are all words that are used interchangeably together. So you need to know who your avatar is and what their pain points are. And so you can nail in your message and learn exactly what they want before you move on to any sort of paid lead generation. So you can create a lead and offer it to them organically through social media. But before you actually get to paid, you need to make sure that is working, that you're getting the correct opt-ins, that people are coming to your landing page and you're getting the right percent that are coming through, and that you're converting some of these people to customers before you actually make it a paid lead generation. So that's why organic social media, whether you're doing it on LinkedIn or on Facebook, is super important before you get to this stage now. Because if you were guessing what they want, you're forever going to be trying to work out which part of your marketing isn't working, when in fact it's just that you haven't created an opt-in or a lead generator that is enticing enough. Once you know with laser point precision what they are after, you can start to create something that they want. So something that they're willing to part with their email for. And now that is the first part of creating your lead generation funnel. So the first part is you need to create this opt-in thing that they really, really want. Now you have to continuously have your finger on your market's pulse because that thing that they want is going to keep changing as the sophistication of your market changes. You also need to take into consideration what stage of awareness your target market is at. There's 5 stages of awareness of any market. So are they totally unaware that they even have a problem that you can fix? Are they problem aware? Are they solution aware? Are they product aware? So where they actually are aware of the product, or are they you aware? So they've actually heard of you and they know that you can help them. So which of these they are determines what information you're going to give them in their PDF and also what sort of headline you're going to create to get their attention. So I'm going to go over this in much more depth in the Copywriting for Dummies module. Okay, so let's talk about what you need to successfully do lead generation. So the first thing you need to generate a lead is your opt-in offer, so what they want that they're going to give you details for. After that, you're going to need some sort of funnel that allows you to capture their contact details And then you're also going to need an email responder to feed them into if you're going to get their email, or a messenger bot if you decide to go down that route. So you need 3 things. You need the offer that they want, the way to capture their information, and then the way to communicate with them once you have that information. So let's talk about the funnel. So a funnel is basically something that we put people into at the top, and it's an automated sort of process that we can use. So we're putting people in the top, and then they come out through the bottom, and then they become a lead, or they might become a customer or something like that. So what sort of funnel you create depends on your business model and on what you want these people to do. Now, as coaches and things like that, really what we're going to create this funnel for initially is just to turn people into clients, and more really what we want to do is get them on a strategy call. So the aim of the simple funnel is just to bring them in, get their email, and then hopefully get them to book a call straight away. Or we're going to communicate with them through email and things like that, so that to make them want what we have to offer. But remember, you always have to decide beforehand on one primary target that you have for everything that you do. If you try to achieve more than one thing at once, you'll confuse yourself. But more importantly, you're going to confuse your prospect. It's kind of like you're diluting what you're doing. And I have a saying that I heard, which I think is Dan Kennedy, might have been somebody else, but he said a confused mind always says no. So if you're confusing your prospect by giving them too many options of what you want to actually do, they're just going to get confused, and it's uncomfortable for them, and they're just going to go away. They're going to just go away. They're not going to do anything that you want them to do. So you need to work out what is the aim of your funnel. So is your aim just to collect their email so you can communicate with them and then maybe try and get them onto a strategy call? Is the aim of your funnel to sell them something? Is the aim of your funnel to walk them through your value ladder? I'm sure you've all been through those funnels where they get your email with an opt-in, and then straight away they offer you something for sale. And then if you buy that, they offer you something more for sale. And if you buy that, they offer you something more for sale. So that can be a funnel as well that you can create. In the most basic of funnels, you just collect their email and then you take them to a thank you page. So that's just 2 pages in your funnel. In the most complex, you collect their email and then you take them through an elaborate funnel of upsells and downsells, complete with the fear of missing out and scarcity and countdown triggers and things like that, to try and get people to purchase from you. Just put that sense of urgency into them. Now, as coaches and consultants and just starting out, we really just want to do a basic funnel where you collect their email and then you take them to a thank you page. And then you might have a video on that thank you page that is going to try to get them to book onto your calendar straight away. As you grow, as your business grows, if you start to have, maybe you might start to have courses that you create and things like that, then you might want to bring in these more elaborate funnels at that point. But for now, let's just start with collecting their email and taking them to a thank you page. My personal take on these elaborate funnels is that people are getting tired of them. They know they're about to be bombarded with videos and countdown timers. And I know that I personally resent them. I suspect that the sophistication of the market is changing and that those sort of funnels are going to start to lose their effect. So at the moment, they're still working though, and they're used by people to house their value ladder of the different products and things that they have for sale. So starting with just like a tripwire, cheap, might be like a $47 offer, walking them up to thousands of dollars of programs. So that's what they do. And they put them in there, and they know that not everybody is going to go all the way through their value ladder, but then they do follow up with email and they promote themselves through that. But their aim with these complex funnels is just to get enough people to actually buy in that it covers the cost of their advertising so they can grow their email lists for free. So if that sounds like something that you do want to create, and the value ladder thing sounds like maybe you've already got some courses that you've put together, and a value ladder sounds like something that you might want to put together, then Russell Brunson teaches it really well in his book, .com Secrets. So I'll put the link to buy that below this video. So it's a really extremely useful concept if you're wanting to actually sell within your opt-in funnel, but it's an extremely useful concept to have within your business anyway, because you really want, as your business grows, so initially you just want clients. Okay, but as your business grows and you become busier and you become better at what you're doing, then you might want to take those clients, instead of one-on-one, you take them into group. So you can make more money that way. And then you might want to have a membership program, or you might want to have more expensive one-on-one coaching. And this is where a value ladder comes in. So you can think strategically about your business and how you're going to build on each product, charging more for each one, and you're going to create a value ladder within your business that is going to allow you to scale your business to 6 figures and beyond. So it is a concept you want to consider within your business. Ultimately, as a coach, you want different tiers of service you can offer your clients, and these are going to shift and grow as you and your business does. So as I said, you might just start out with one-on-one coaching, and as they grow and you become more in demand, this shifts to group coaching, and then you can make that one-on-one with you a higher tier item, and then you might create a membership program or a very expensive program that you can take people into. Now, don't freak out if you're not there yet, okay? Some of you might already have some products in place, so this is something you might want to consider. But you don't have to have all of this worked out now. Just keep in mind that you're going to be able to increase your income in the future by making changes like this to your business structure and creating your own value ladder, whether or not you actually put that within a funnel or whether or not it's just something that you offer people as they come in as clients. You can offer them ever increasing things. If you're not there yet though, if you're just looking at a way to bring clients into work one-on-one with them, great. Let's just keep it simple. So we're just going to go with an opt-in and a thank you page. So the type of funnel that you're going to create would be the opt-in page where they put their email in, and a thank you page that houses a video of you. And in that video, you might talk about how you help people and then offer up a free coaching call. And underneath that video, you either embed your calendar for them to book onto, or you place a button for them to click to your calendar. Okay, so let's have a look at what that looks like now. Okay, so I'm over on my ClickFunnels account. I wanted to show you a simple opt-in versus thank you page. So this is a page where they're opting in, they give me my email to get something, they get taken to a thank you page. And on that thank you page, I have a video and I have an embedded calendar. Now, the reason this has two extra forms is because I have actually embedded, so once they book onto my calendar, they get taken to a Wufoo form and they fill out the Wufoo form just to give us some information before we talk to them. And in the tech videos, I've taught you how to do that as well. Now, I've actually embedded the calendar and the Wufoo form on here so that I could set up a Facebook pixel through this. So if I wanted to retarget people, I could. So I could target people who came to the thank you page, but not the application form page. I could target them with a second ad because I know that they've opted in, but they haven't booked on my calendar because they didn't get taken to this page after they did it. So let's go on and have a look at this. Now, this opt-in page, I've actually done more work on it. This is an old one. I'm not using this anymore. So this is, if I'm going to critique my opt-in page for you, too much up here, too many words, too much stuff going on up here. It's confusing. I was saying a confused mind always says no. So when I redid this, I took out this line and I've renamed what I'm giving away to make it more succinct so that people know exactly what they're getting. Now, another thing, and I will go through this in another video as well, I'm sure, but Facebook is getting more and more critical of opt-in pages. They actually check out opt-in pages. So when you do an ad and you take someone, they actually go and check that out. So one, they want to make sure that you're not taking them to an opt-in page that they don't let you promote. Two, they want to make sure that you're not, there's certain rules with Facebook that you can't do. So for instance, you can't offer them something in a way that might be unrealistic. So you can't say how you can lose 20 kilos in 3 days or something like that. And weight loss is one of the industries that they kind of frown on. Before and after photos, they also frown on. And calling people out, so saying, hey, fatty, how you can lose weight. They're not going to let you do something like that, okay? You have to be very careful with how you word things with Facebook ads, and it has to be more about how I got this result, or just teaching them something. So we will go through more of that in the Facebook marketing module. But one of the things that they want you to have on the opt-in page, see down here, I've got a privacy policy and terms and conditions. So they're going to get to the point where you might have an ad rejected if you don't have privacy policy links and term and conditions down here. So this is where, although we say you don't need a website, you do need somewhere to house these. Okay, so that's probably where just having a website is a good thing. And yes, there are tech videos on how to set up a website. So that you can house a privacy policy and a term and condition down here. Okay, so this is your opt-in page. Now, I have a pop-up here. So when you say download now, oh, sorry, let's actually go in and preview it so you can see. So if I click the download now, see how the pop bin comes up? So the reason we do this is like a micro commitment. Someone says, yes, I want it, and they hit that download button. They haven't seen it. They have to enter their email. They're probably suspicious given the market sophistication of these days. And then when that pops up, they're kind of like, okay, so they've already kind of micro committed to getting that, so they're more likely to give you the email address. And we do find a slight increase in opt-ins on pages that have this pop up as the pages that don't. As I said, we tried this with a market for anxious and depressed people, and it didn't work. I think it's probably scared them, freaked them out a bit more, and they were already kind of more like a timid rabbit than a scared rabbit. So when we did that, it kind of like we freaked them out and they ran off. So if we're going to put this in here now see down here, I've got this pop up. This click button here. By entering your email, you acknowledged, you know that you'll be added to an email list, but you can unsubscribe at any time. Now, this is something that with GDPR in Europe coming in, you have to be aware. And with ClickFunnels, you can set this to only show up for people who are in the area of GDPR, so who are in Europe. But you do need to have that here. So you click that, download now. It's submitting it, and then it's taking you through to my thank you page. I'm just going to stop this video so you don't have to listen to it. So I have a video where I then try to get them to schedule a time to talk to me. Sorry, stop that. Right. So they free PDF on its way. I'm going to check out the video below to find out how you can fast track your success. So you want to make them want to watch the video, or whether you've got here, and then I have this embedded. Now, a couple of reasons I do this. One, for every click you take, people make you, well, on one hand, we've got the micro commitment thing, but on the other hand, there's that for every click that you make them take, for every hoop that you make them jump through, a small percent will drop off. So I embedded the calendar here, firstly for that, but secondly, as I said, so that once they come through this and they get taken to the next page, I've got Facebook pixels on this funnel. I could, if I wanted to, retarget them with another ad. So I could retarget them just with a video of me talking about how what results people get from just having a strategy session or something like that, and then give them the link to go back to my calendar. So that's why I have embedded these here. So if we come back here, let's go back. And then you can see that this is the Wufoo form application form that is down here. I won't go into it, you can just see it here. And then I've got a form submitted page that they get taken to. So once again, I could retarget them. So if I know they went through the calendar, they picked a time, but they freaked out when they got here and didn't fill it out and didn't submit it, I could, if I wanted to, target another Facebook ad at them or a video at them, because if they haven't filled this out, then they're less likely to show up for the strategy session. So I could send them another thing saying how important it is that they fill this out to talk to us, or I could have tags in here so that they get tagged, and then I could send an email if I know that they haven't ended up on this page, so I could email them just to take them back to here. Okay, so this is why I have it embedded. You don't have to, you can take them from here. So if we come into thank you page, and then you could have the calendar there, and then the button could be, well, once they've filled out the form, you could have them then taken to the Wufoo form directly through, or go to your calendar, and then you have your calendar set up so that once they've submitted that, they go to the Wufoo form, which is the way I've shown you how to do it in the tech videos. Okay, so I hope I haven't confused you too much, but all you really need is the opt-in and then the thank you. These are pretty easy to embed. You just get from Schedule Once and from Wufoo, you just get the embed HTML code, and then you just put it in. So if we come into here, if we edit the page, you can see that here, this is what it looks like. It's actually just the JavaScript. So that's an element that I added into here. And then when you edit the settings, you can see that there's my code. So that's what I went and got from Wufoo, and I just picked the element, which is the custom JavaScript Hotmail, and then I embedded the code into it, and that's how you get your forms embedded on ClickFunnels. Okay. Now, once you get a lead, you're going to have them go into your email autoresponder. Now, there's many different email autoresponders that you can use. There's MailChimp is great, SendLane, there's Ontraport, which is more expensive. There's Actionetics. If you're going to use ClickFunnels to create your funnels, which is what I teach, then Actionetics is an add-on that you can get with that, which allows you to send email from them. And that's all down in the tech videos, how to do that. But look, there's many different email autoresponders. And if you already have one, then just stick with them as long as it allows you to do automated email series and things like that. It's handy to be able to tag people as well, so you can see add tags to see what they might be interested in and where they've come in for, things like that. But honestly, that's not something to stress out about now. You'll probably find as your business starts to grow and you become more strategic in your thinking that you'll want to sort of start to put this stuff into place. But yeah, so, and you might even find that as you grow, you need to change your email autoresponder so you get one that is able to do what you can do. Infusionsoft is another really good one. It is your email autoresponder, as well as you can create your funnels and your opt-in pages and things like that with it. I don't use Infusionsoft, but one of my clients does, so I'm going to put together a video. It's going to be in the tech video on Infusionsoft. It'll just be a very basic look at Infusionsoft and how to use it and how it works. So you're going to feed them into your automated email sequence that you have set up, or you might just put them into a list that you send out emails to. Now, it's a good idea to initially have them go through even a small automated sequence in which you build rapport with them. You might have a 4 to 5 sequence of emails, and in email 4 and 5, you might have a call to action trying to get them to book onto your calendar. Or you could have a more elaborate automation setup where you're taking them through this huge automation series where you're able to be more strategic in your thinking of what you're putting in front of them and offering them different things and showing up with value and having calls to action at different points within that email series. So you can almost think about your automated email series as another funnel that you're taking people through. I'm going to talk about different strategies for emailing your list in the next lesson, just different thought processes on it that different people have, and you can decide what's best for you at the moment. Okay, so let's go back to basics though, where we're looking at our opt-in. So what sort of things can you create to generate these leads? You can create a cheat sheet, a PDF, an ebook, a quiz, a video, a series of training videos, a webinar, a free course, a bootcamp, a challenge, anything that to a degree answers your dream client's problem and that would be desirable to them. So why did I say just to a degree, that it answers their problems to a degree? Well, I know you want to help them, but you don't want to fully solve their problem with your opt-in because then there's nowhere left for you to go. But you do want to create something of value that serves them. You don't want them to feel ripped off. And you do want to show up as the leader that can further help them. Also, you don't want to make something that is too big or too daunting. So believe it or not, people are more willing to give you their email for something they can consume quickly to get their answer than for a 60,000 word book that could tell them everything that they need to know. The average attention span of people these days is about 7 to 8 seconds. So this is the time that you have to grab their attention and make them want what you have to offer. And then when they have your opt-in, they are just impatient when they're consuming it to get to that bit that can help them. So remember that when you're designing your opt-in. It must be relevant, it must be concise, it must scratch their itch but not totally solve their problem. It must not be too daunting, and it must set you up as the person who can help them. Now, you may have noticed that I have mentioned Messenger a few times as a list building method. So let's talk about that for a moment. So let's talk about email versus Messenger. So the reason we love to build email lists is that you own your email list. So if Facebook or YouTube or whatever social media platform you use shuts you down for whatever reason, you can still email your list and move them to wherever you go next. Whereas something like Messenger, you don't own that. Facebook owns that. But I think the truth about email is that it is dying. I don't think it will ever truly disappear, but I feel about email the way I used to feel about the local DVD store. Some people were still going there, but the writing was on the wall that eventually the convenience of being able to rent your videos from home, get your snacks delivered to your door, and not to have to put up with the pain in the ass factor that came from your DVD being scratched, it was going to mean that they became non-profitable as less and less people use them. Email open rates are down, email servers are blocking more and more emails. It just doesn't look good for those depending purely on email for their income. So for instance, if you look at the open rates of affiliate marketers' emails, only about 7%, industry standard is 7% of people will open their emails. I mean, that's tiny. So what are the alternatives to email, especially if you want to be able to do it in an automated way? Well, at the moment, Facebook Messenger is really the shining star because Messenger bots allow you to automate a lot of what we can do with emails now we can do also on Messenger. The other thing I really like about Messenger versus email is that you only want a short message on Messenger as opposed to a longer email. So it's a lot quicker and easier to create Messenger automated sequence series than it is to do email. So people don't have to give you their email to opt into Messenger, so there's less resistance there. Plus, the open rates are stupendously high, as are the click rates. So I'm currently growing I've just started playing around with Messenger bots, and I'm using ManyChat, and I'm growing with my author business. So as my fiction author business, I run an opt-in to Facebook ads. So I'm giving away book one in a series. And then I'm running it to Messenger and taking them through ManyChat and subscribing them there. And I'm also taking them through an opt-in for an email, collecting their email. Now, I've got my email opt-in up to about over 60% for cold traffic, which is really good. That's years of playing around with my opt-in page. So, and then I'm emailing them. They go through an email auto sequence of about 2 months where I'm showing them different things and offering them different chapters. And I'll create the same thing into Messenger. Now, the other thing I do with both of these lists is that each week I send them out an email or a messenger with 3 books that I found on Amazon. So for other people's books that I found that are free. The reason I do this is to keep them engaged, to offer them value. Well, if I'm not writing myself, I want to keep them around and I want them to think of me as a friend who's helping them. So I do that every week. So I've got some people on Messenger have opted in to get that and with my email. So let's go have a look at different open rates for that. Okay, so this is a quick example of email versus ManyChat for the same thing. So I have automated sequences when people come in and get my free book opt-in. You can see here they're going through quite a long email sequence, and these email sequences actually trigger other email sequences off them because I don't want to be hassled people who don't want to hear from me. So I offer them a chapter 1 in a book, and then if they take me up on that offer, they actually go into another email sequence where they get offered chapter 2 and 3. And the same thing over here in ManyChat, they come in, they get my book for free, and they come into this sequence, and then they get offered chapter 1 in a book and chapter 2, and if they take up on that, they go into a different sequence. So let's just have a look at this chapter 1 Goons and Roses offer. You can see here of 111 that have been sent out recently, there was a 93.6% open rate of these messages and 16.4% of these people clicked through. So 18 people actually clicked to get chapter 1. So let's have a look at the same spot in, wrong ClickFunnels area. So chapter 1 offer, so this is the same email. So let's have a look through. 30% open rate. So what do we have here? We had a 93.6% open rate. Now I get pretty good open rates on my emails because I'm a writer. I'm quite good at engaging people, and also because this is as an author, people tend to be less threatened and they're more likely to open my emails. And as I said, I do offer them free books and things like that, free book offers, where I do the research for them and send them out a weekly email with 3 other books, so another author's books that I found on Amazon that are free. So they're more likely to open my emails, but I'm still only getting a 30% open rate on this. And then let's have a look at the click rate. 0% click rate. So all of the people who've gone through, so this is I've just started sending people through this new funnel. 66 people have come to this. 46 have not even opened it, so only 20 of those have opened it, and then none of them have clicked, versus here 93% open rate and a 16.4% click rate. So this is what I'm talking about with ManyChat, just Messenger in general. ManyChat is the bot that I'm using, which I am going to teach you how to use and how to set this up. But how the engagement is higher, the open rate is much higher. You can see it's over 3 times higher. The click-through rate is higher. It's easier once you've got it set up. It's smaller messages that you're having to write. So you're not having to write a big email, you're just sending out quick messages. So it's actually easier and quicker to do as well. Okay, now I want to show you the difference between ManyChat and email. I sent out a broadcast last week to my email list, basically offering them 3 books that I'd found on Amazon that were free. Now I'm in the process, I'm going to show you two different email servers because I'm in the process of moving one email to the other, and also ManyChat. So here we are in ClickFunnels. Now this is a newer list. I've just started running ads to my list on ClickFunnels. So it's less people, but it's also higher engagement because they're newer into it. Now, in saying this, I clean my list. So I only send emails out to people who've responded or opened an email from me within the last 2 months. Okay, so if they haven't, then they don't get an email from me. And this is a way, one, of not pissing people off so that they put a spam complaint against you, but two, by cleaning out your email. Like, you're not paying for people to be on your email list that aren't responding to you. So I sent out 163, 82% open, so 50% open rate, which is pretty good. And of them, 16% clicked. So just have a look over at Ontraport, my other email service. So same date, 5th to the 6th, I sent it out to 3,787 people. Of them, I had a 34% open rate. So that's pretty good. I find that normally my email list for my readers is around a 30 to 40% open rate. And of them, 7.29% people clicked. So as I said, you can see lower engagement here because this is an older list. Now, let's have a look at ManyChat. So same thing, sent out the books on the 5th of the 6th. Sent out, we had a 93.68% open rate and a 37.89% click-through rate. So you can see how we've pretty much doubled the Actionetics list I've got going. Oops, sorry, wrong list. Which had a 50% and then a 16%. We've managed to get, pretty much 93, 94% and a 38%. So that's another example of how ManyChat just seems to have definitely a higher engagement than email. Now, the big problem with Messenger is that Facebook owns your list. So if you don't keep a clean pair of heels with your marketing and they shut your account down, you can lose it all. So the best of all is to get their email and to get them into Messenger so you can engage them there as well. So you could do this by getting them into one and then offering them something else that they would want through the other medium. So basically, you might, I bring them into an email sequence and I offer to put them into Messenger so they can get the free books there to make it easier for them. So some of them opt in down there. Okay, so let's talk about metrics. So what sort of metrics should you be aiming for within your funnel? So the several different stages that you need to be looking at for metrics within your funnel. So the first is the opt-in page. Then you want to be looking at how many are converting on whatever you want them to do on the thank you page. And then if you're doing upsells and stuff, there are different conversions there. And then you want to be looking at your email open rates and things like that as well. So for your opt-in page, you need to be aimed to be getting between 20 to 40% of the people who come to that page actually opting in and giving you their email. Now, you can do this you can check this either within your funnel, like ClickFunnels. You can actually go into the stats and have a look at how many people are opting in, the percent. But you can also do it through tracking codes. So I use ClickMagick. That's all in the tech videos, how to use ClickMagick to track things that are coming through. And you do get different stats showing up within ClickFunnels as with ClickMagick. So I look at both of them just to kind of get a better idea of what's going on, because ClickMagick actually takes out bots and things like that as well. So whereas ClickFunnels isn't as advanced to do that. So if you're not getting between 20-40% of people that are coming to the page opting in, you need to evaluate a couple of things. You need to reevaluate the design of your page, so what's on your page, what you're saying on your page, and you also need to reevaluate the market that you are putting in front of that page. So if your page is awesome, but the people you're bringing to it aren't interested at all, then your opt-in rate will suck. Even a not so well-designed page put in front of the right audience would do better. So this is where split testing comes in. So what is split testing? So with split testing, we put two pages up against each other. It might be you can split test lots of things. It might be Facebook ads, opt-in pages, your thank you pages. But we basically put two pages up against each other and we run enough traffic through them that we can see the difference in the conversion rate. Now, the trick with this is that you only want to have one change between the two pages so you know exactly what it was that made the difference. So if you've got different headline and a different color and a different design button, and then you're getting dramatically different opt-in, you're not quite sure whether or not it was the headline, the color, or the design of the button that is making that difference, which is why you just want to have one thing at a time changed. Now, in saying that, it can be good when you first start out is to have two dramatically different designs against each other. So you might have a long form Facebook ad running against a short form Facebook ad, or you might have a opt-in page that has a video versus an opt-in page that just has text. And then you want to see the people that you're running to that, which form, which type and design is working better. And then once you've got that, then you can start testing. So once you have a definite winner, and this has to be from, a good amount of people that's put through it. You don't want to just have 10 people go through and then make a decision on that. You want to have maybe 100 people come through the funnel, then have a look and see what's happening. So once you have a winner, you scrap the other one and then you change just one thing in the winning page, and then you run enough traffic through it again until you determine which is the winner. So this is how we slowly improve our opt-in rates and our opt-in pages, is by tweaking one thing at a time and then testing them and seeing whether or not the audience likes it. And there are so many variables that come into play, which is why you have to test. Because if you're going to try and guess, what's going to work, then you're going to be wrong, I reckon, 99.9% of the time, because it's industry specific. So for instance, I was doing with a client who is a psychologist working with people with anxiety and depression, and we were trying a thing that works really well with affiliate marketing and money, where we have a pop-up that comes from when they click on the button, and then it pops up asking for their email, and we had a really low conversion rate for that. I think it's because these people are stressed out and anxious and depressed, and it was like when we popped that up for them, it was like too much. It was like stressing them out, versus like the affiliate marketing crowd, the money making crowd, who it's when we do that to them, it's like a micro commitment that they've made. So you need to test everything. You need to test, you'd be surprised, just changing a color can make a difference. It also depends on, like, as I said, what stage of awareness the people coming through are, as to what sort of headline works with them. I mean, if they're not even problem aware, then the headline that you're going to run is going to be totally different to if they're actually solution aware or you aware, and what offer you're going to have on the page. But as I said, I'm going to go through that more in the copywriting. Now, you can also split test your Facebook ads. So you might test images against each other. So you would have exactly the same text, and then just like the same headline, the same news feed line, and then you would just change the images. Or you might have the same images and then change the text. Or you have the same image and the same text, but you test the traffic. So as I said, just remember, you've got to just change one element at a time. And yes, it can be time consuming to do this, but we're in this for the long game. And we need to set this up right so that we can get the best results. Because if you can take your opt-in rate from 20% to 40%, then that means you've just halved the cost of your advertising. Now, the other thing to consider is the quality of the lead coming in. It's better to have a lower open rate with a high quality lead than a high opt-in with people who aren't really suitable for your ultimate offer. And this comes then when you're looking through to your email open rates and things like that. So I had a page that was it was more about making money online, not something I could have run Facebook ads to, but I was running it just to organic traffic, and I had a really high opt-in on this page, but then low response rates. And it was because I was just attracting any old person out there who wanted to make money online, whether or not they were willing to put in the effort. Whereas if once I started tailing it more into my avatar, my opt-in rates went down, but more people who were interested in what I had to offer are coming through. So it's better to have a lower open rate, but then to have a highly engaged audience. Lower opt-in rate, and have a highly engaged audience who are opening your emails and want to hear from you. So it's where you have to look at the whole thing. And if you think of all of these stages as a series of pipes that run together, and then what you want to know, if you know the metrics to expect, then you can find where the constriction is in your funnel, and then you can work on that. So when I say a series of pipes, you can imagine if you had water running through pipes that were all joined together, and you had a big broad pipe and then another big broad pipe, and then all of a sudden you have this little teeny skinny pipe. So it's all backing up and it's not working properly. So that area that isn't working properly is where you need to spend your time in improving that rate, opening it up to let more people through the funnel at that point. You want to remember the whole aim of bringing people into your list is that you can build a relationship with them and then sell to them when they are ready. So that's why we want high quality leads coming in. Now, so you get 20 to 40% of people coming through your opt-in. They end up on the next page, which might be a thank you page or it might be a sales page. Now, you can expect only 1 to 5%, 5% you're doing really well, to take you up on that offer. So if you had a bump on that same order form, so 1 to 5% go to that order form, and then if you had a bump on there, 20 to 40% of those would buy that as well. So it's worth having a bump if you're going to sell something. So what's a bump? A bump is when you commit, you would have been on those order forms, and then when you go down, you're filling out your form, and then there's that flashing sort of like your text that says a little tick box. Yes, I also want to add this to my order. That's an order bump. So they've come in to get something, and then you're going to chuck something else that they really would want or really would need to them at the same time. So for instance, when I was running, selling my books myself through my own pages, now I'm running them to Amazon because I'm basically split testing how they're working against each other. But I used to sell my books. I'd bring them in through the opt-in, and then straight away I'd take them to an order form or a sales page, selling them the box set of the next few books. And then I would have a bump on that page where I would also say, hey, get the whole fantasy trilogy as well. So I might be offering them Cozy Mystery. And then I would sell them the whole fantasy trilogy as well as a bump on that page and give them a big discount on it. So that's what a bump is. So if you're not getting that 1 to 5% success rate, there could be a few reasons. So firstly, your offer that you're giving them on that next page may not be congruent with your opt-in. So if you're bringing them through and offering them one thing, so just say I brought them through and gave them a Cozy Mystery book, and then the very next thing I had to offer was a fantasy trilogy. So that's not, even though it's a book, it might not be congruent enough. So it might be okay for me to offer it as a bump when they're already kind of like got the bit between their teeth and they're committing to buy from me, and then I can give them a bump on something slightly different. But even then, a bump works better when it is congruent, obviously, with what they need and with what they have. So you need to be thinking about what's the next thing they need. What's the next thing they need? So, for instance, if you were bringing them in and you were teaching them how, giving them a template or a cheat sheet on putting together emails, then the bump on the page might be get my templates for like an extra $7. Sorry, it's just off the top of my head, probably not the best example, but you want to make sure that they're congruent. Okay, so your offer has to be congruent with your opt-in. The bump should be congruent as well. So another reason that you might not be getting that 1 to 5% success rate is that your opt-in already solved the same problem that your offer does. So you might give them an opt-in on that, and then if your offer is the same thing, then they're thinking, well, I don't need to buy this because I've just given them my email to get that for free, and I'll go have a look at that first and then see if I need to buy it. So another reason that you might not be getting that 1 to 5% success rate is that you've brought in poor quality leads. So they're not actually that interested or that engaged in what you have to offer. Maybe, as I said, maybe you're offering, it's like make money online, and then you're offering them something and they realize that they actually have to do some work to make money online. And then they don't want to do that. They actually just want someone to hand them a magic bullet that's going to make it all happen for them. So that's, what happens with poor quality leads. Okay, so in the next video, I'm going to show you a couple more funnels and some opt-in pages that I've collected, so not necessarily mine, and that convert really well. So these are things that I've been exposed to in courses and stuff that I've done, and mentorships and things that I've taken copies of and put them into a swipe file. So this is why I've probably talked to you about swipe files before. Start one now. Start taking, when you go through a funnel, you can record it. You can use Snagit to record it, or Camtasia if you've got that. So record them and then keep them. Snagit's really good because it allows you to take a rolling screenshot of things. So you don't have to take a whole series of screenshots and then piece them together. So yeah, start a swipe file of things that are working well for people. If you see something that really is maybe to your target audience, take a screenshot of that, because then when you go to create it, you're not going to copy these things. You don't want to copy them verbatim, because that's not great, but you can use them as jumping off points for design, so that you're not having to think the whole, recreate the wheel from scratch. If these things have already been designed in this way and they're working, then it's a good place to start, basically, when you're designing your own.